Hello everybody, it's Emery48 here, and today's video is another Star Wars short stories video on Bane of the Sith. This short story is the only one in this video because it's the only one in the timeline in between books. It's by Kevin J. Anderson and takes place in 1000 BBY, which is the same year as Darth Bane Rule of Two. This story takes place during Bane's flight from Ruusan to Duxon. It details more his conversation with Qordis' spirit, showing a possible slight hint of conscience in Bane, but it quickly went away when Bane was glad he was rid of the Brotherhood, who were useless and yet powerful at the same time. Qordis' spirit turned off all the systems in the Valsen and was the reason for Bane's crash landing onto the moon in the Rule of Two. Qordis' spirit is intending to kill Bane on Duxon. This story then details the fight Bane has with the panther-like creature mentioned in the Rule of Two. After Bane defeated the panther-like creature, Kaan's spirit appeared, showing him a direction to journey in. Bane arrived at Freedon Nadd's tomb, still waiting to find Sith knowledge so that he could rebuild the Sith Brotherhood. Kaan's spirit spoke to Bane outside of the temple, inspiring Bane to further his journey in the dark side. Kaan's spirit then led Bane through the temple to Nadd's tomb and the Sith holocron. Bane is then infected by the Orbalisks. Both Kaan and Qordis' spirits explain to Bane that the Orbalisk will provide Bane with benefits to balance out the pain. Bane studied the holocron for a couple of days inside the tomb, after which he left the temple, and the Orbalisks had already begun to grow. This is when Bane decided the Rule of Two would in fact be a rule. It would stop the civil wars amongst the Sith, and stop all of the things that past Sith empires failed in. Bane was then attacked by a Drexel. It was the first time Bane saw how effective the Orbalisk was as a piece of armor. He then dominated the Drexel's mind, allowing him to mount the flying pterodactyl-like creature. The story ends with Bane taking off on the back of the Drexel on his way to Onderon. Overall, I thought this was a good short story. I'm always welcome to stories filling in minor gaps or major gaps, this one happened to be minor, in stories that have already been written. It was interesting to see how this author interpreted Bane's character development from Rule of Two, because he wrote this story with Bane at a different point mentally than I had interpreted it. But so much of stories is how it is interpreted, not how it is written. I thought Bane was already over the Brotherhood, but this short story made it seem like what he found out in Nadd's tomb in his holocron got him past the whole rebuilding a Brotherhood thing. I definitely enjoyed a story from a perspective that differed from my interpretation. It was cool to see how someone else must have read Rule of Two and then made this story to fill in that 10-year gap in Rule of Two. A little bit of that anyway. With that said, I did enjoy the story, and that is all I have for today's video. I hope you all enjoyed, and thank you everyone so much for watching. Have a great rest of your day. As always, the link to this short story will be down in the description below.